everyone. Welcome to the next lecture video. In this lecture video, we'll be having a look on the different approaches after the problem is been written in the form of pseudocode and the errors are been highlighted and it has been tested. The next stage is the documentation. Every program, whenever it is written, or any appliances you take or any electronic gadgets you take, they come with a manual, user manual or user guide. So that is a text written to understand how the machine is going to work, or what are the do's and don'ts, or what are the systems that the machine will follow. Similarly, over here also, in the programming environment, documentation and maintenance plays an important role. First, we'll discuss about the documentation, then we'll go to the maintenance. So, documentation is basically a reference material through which we can refer, and it is going to explain the use of the application what we have developed, or the use of the program code what it is. And later it may also help us in the later stages for the maintenance of the program or the application that we have written. So after some duration, you know that programs will become older or the application will become older. It requires updates, like how you will have updates for your WhatsApp, for your Facebook, for your Insta, and so many things. Similarly, updation is a change or modification that is requirement of the scenario. Every time the updation has to be done, the older things has to be referred or to be read. So this documentation will help us to explain how the different things are working in the application program or in the software. So to do that, we have two types of documentation which will help the user and even the programmer. The internal documentation and the external documentation are the two types of documentation that we'll have. Let us see the internal documentation, what it is meant for. As the name itself indicates, it is also known as the technical documentation because it is used by the technology people or the person who will develop or has the internal knowledge of programming, how it is going to work. It is meant for the programmer who may update the program code at a later stages after few days, after few months, or after few years. So it is done by how it is done internally. When the program is to be written, it is done by defining the meaning of the variables or the names that we are using, what it is used for, the name of the particular contains in the elements, what it is standing for, what it will be storing, indicating the comments in the programming code, like how you will write the comments in the Facebook, okay, your opinion, your suggestion. Similarly, certain part of the code can be explained what it is for, and later when the updation stage comes, you may modify certain codes easily by referring to the comments. The next thing is presenting the code is very clearly by the internal documentation. Like if there are hundreds of modules or hundreds of boxes that I need to develop, or chunks or containers that I need to develop, each container or each module will have the description written in the form of comments or internal documentation. So it will be easier for the programmer to organize or present the program because the codes are being explained with the documentation. The external documentation is the second category of the documentation which we referred into the introduction. That is, the program or the application is supported by the additional textual information about the application, like what it is used for, like user manuals. Okay, when you go for purchasing certain things, you will have a user manual, how to use it, how to operate the machine, how to see the different things. Okay, like you buy a new AC, you will get a user manual, how to on it, with what are the different buttons in the remote control and what are the functionality. Though there will be a real-time demo by the demonstrator, but then also there will be a manual. So these are the manuals that are basically built for the users who will use it, or the administrator who will be responsible for everything, managing the entire resources, or for the developer who may develop it even in a later stage. But external documentation with respect to the mechanical is only related to the consumer or the user purpose. After the documentations are been dealt, the very next stage is the maintenance, because documentation and maintenance are very much oftenly done. Every program after certain period of time will have to be modified, will have to be reviewed for certain changes, so that it is going to exist in the real world after the changes around the world has been done. Like for example, now WhatsApp has come with the WhatsApp shopping mall, WhatsApp payment, okay, at different stages. So before, WhatsApp was used only for chatting, then they made a video call, then they made an audio call. So everything now they are going into changes, digitalization. Similarly, program maintenance means periodical review of programs, so that the modifications are to be done based on the user requirement, whatever the user wants changes into the application. So that is called as the maintenance stage. In the maintenance stage, not we will be developing everything from scratch. We will be just modifying or doing certain alteration or the changes. Like you buy certain clothes from the shopping mall and you have the size which is a little bit bigger and you are not getting your size. Then what you will do? You will purchase it and later on you will give to the tailor so that he can modify according to your size or certain alteration. But tailor is not going to stitch the material or dress from the scratch or from the beginning. He just modifies certain areas of the cloth. Similarly, over here also in the maintenance stage also, the entire program is not being developed from the scratch, only certain parts of the codes are being changed so that it depicts the real world scenario. So documentation is going to help us in speedy and efficient process of maintenance of a program. So because they are correlated or interrelated, because of internal and external documentation, the process will become speed and efficient. Need for the documentation. Need for the maintenance. Why do we need a maintenance in the program? There are different cases. The program that we have developed become outdated with the time, so it requires certain changes. Depending upon the usage, many wear and tear, certain number of errors may appear, because the testing phase has been done on the trial basis. When it goes to the user hand, he will find many errors. He will find many things not working properly according to the expectations. Accurate results are not being generated, so it will go to the maintenance stage. So depending upon changes in the rules within the organization, user requirements program need to be modified. Now for example, considering an example of a college or a school, we have faculty who will work for full time, we will have faculty who will work for the part time. Okay. Now we will have guest faculty who will come for only yearly once. So see, the scenarios or modifications are been changing. Now the guest faculty who was there want to join us permanently. Now his case has been changed. So the modification has to be done in the equipment of the process. So the changes have to be accommodated. Okay, it has to be given the coding. The next is what makes a program a good one. So the characteristics of a good program are the program that takes less space, means in terms of memory. When the computers were actually being developed, the computers were having very less memory, because we have already discussed in the generations of computer. With few KBs, the first generation of computers started, and we are into the fourth generation, and robotics is into the fifth generation of computer. We have TBs of memory available in just in cases. But in olden system, less space was there in terms of memory. So the program should take the less space so that other data can reside into the computer and we can work on it. Then the next thing is the less time. The program should take less time to complete its execution. When input is given, it should not take much time to give the output. Now, when you are using 3G phones or 2G phones, when you open your YouTube used to play very slow, okay, so that you get bored and you will close the YouTube. Nowadays, because of 4G generation, the videos which are in high quality are being played with a very less time, without buffering or with a less buffering. Okay, so time plays an important role when we are waiting for something. So the program which is going to perform some task should produce the result at a very less time. So that is also considered to be a good program and it should complete within the stipulated time. The next thing is modification. Modification, we have just talked about the changes. So a good program allows the modification whenever it is needed, depending upon the changes in the rules or changes in the scenarios, etc. Portability. The word portability stands for can accommodate or can run on any of the machines. Does not depend on what machine you are using. It can work on the laptops, it can work on the phones, it can work on the desktops, okay, anywhere. It doesn't depend on the hardware, it doesn't depend on the software. That is called as a portability. Now, a good program should run on any machine and any platform, whereas platform is a combination of hardware and software resources with a minimum or no changes. Okay, little bit changes can be done, is minimal changes are okay, but the entire program should not be changed. That is called as a portable, and these all characteristics makes a program as a good program. The next thing that we are going to talk about is approaches of problem solving. Now we are into solution to the problem after the algorithm and flowcharts are being developed. How to put that algorithm and flowchart in a proper approach so that the problem is been designed with a minimum number of mistakes. So there are different approaches that we are going to drag into the concept. The first is a top-down approach. The next is a stepwise refinement, bottom-up design, and the programming techniques are the different approaches to solve a given problem. Approaches, not the tools. The tools that we have discussed are algorithm and the flowchart. The next thing is the very first concept we will be taking, that is top-down design or top-down approach also we can say. The name itself indicates the top-down design or a process is dividing the problem, a bigger one, into sub-problems. So we have divided the bigger problem into sub-problem. Further, this sub-problem is divided into smaller problems, which are smaller sub-problems. Further, this sub-problems, which are smaller sub-problems, are divided into smaller problems. Like that, dividing the smaller into smaller into smaller. So division until it leads to an solution. So that we will call it as solution to the given problem. Let us understand this concept with a diagram. An example that you have is a basic concept. Let A be the problem, which is the main problem that we are going to consider. The problem A is divided into B, C and D, which is split of a main problem into a smaller problem B, C, D. Further, the problem B has different approaches or different divisions. It is not the smallest one among the division. So it could be now divided into E and F. So dividing this B into EF, EF leads to the smaller problems of B, and this could be the very easiest way to be implemented. Now again D is further divided into G and H, which are easier to implement in the form of statements or in the form of programming codes. Let us take a real world example and understand. Now we are developing a problem or a small code, so that will be going to convert the temperature from the Fahrenheit to centigrade or Celsius. Centigrade to the Fahrenheit. Okay, that is the two conversions that we could perform. Temperature conversion is divided into two cases that we have here, F to C and C to F. Further, F to C requires certain lower level details, that is accepting the value of input in the terms of Fahrenheit, and then the problem is converting the temperature, which requires certain formula, which we have is C is equals to F minus 32 into 5 divided by 9, and then after the conversion is done, we need to output the temperature in the centigrade. So that is how the lower level details are been written. This is top down approach. So then in the centigrade to Fahrenheit, we will have the same cases, input, conversion and the output, where input is taken in the centigrade and temperature is converted into Fahrenheit. So the formula F is equals to 5 divided by 9 into C plus 32 is the formula. Then after the result is been generated or Fahrenheit is been found, we will output the Fahrenheit. So this is top down approach which will be followed while dividing the main problem into smaller problem or dividing it to sub problems, again further dividing into sub problems, further dividing this smaller into other sub problems until this smaller sub problems leads to an solution. What are the advantages of this particular top down design? Advantages are the problem can be solved by outlining the broader concept first. We will outline the broader concept, what should be done. Then frequently going into details with no or minimum changes. Like you can see here, temperature conversion. Then I analyzed there are two types of conversions, this and this. And then I analyzed, I require input, I require formula, then I require output. Then I analyzed that when I am converting, I require a formula for this. So first we will be outlining the broader concept, that is temperature conversion is a strategy. Then subsequently we will go into the further details and with the minimum or no changes we will be implementing this. So using top down design, we can develop the program easily, quickly and with minimum number of errors. Whereas one team can concentrate on Fahrenheit to centigrade, the other team can concentrate on the centigrade to Fahrenheit. This is how the bigger problems can be solved and combined. The assumption at the lower level continues and the development at the next level and the subsequent level can take parallelly. Okay, like when I started dividing this can be continuous in the traveling stage, but I'll be developing the code and this is in the process of under construction that could be solved later. So these are the advantages of the top down design. The very next thing that we are going to see is the stepwise refinement. It's same like a top down approach. It's a process of breaking down the problem at each stage to obtain computer solution. Okay, that is called as a stepwise refinement. I got certain step, then again I will divide that step, then again I got the step, again I will divide that step. Okay, until it leads to a problem or solution. The next thing is the bottom up design, so where it is an approach which is quite reverse to the top down approach or top down design. The process here starts with combining lower level entities. Okay, reverse of top down. In top-down, the main problem is divided into smaller sub-problems or smaller problems, where these lower level entities are here in the top-down approach are combined to form an higher level entity. So a design or a method in which the system details are developed first and then followed by the major process, we will call such an design as the bottom-up design. So the process starts with identification with a set of modules which are either to be available or to be constructed, and here smaller subtasks are implemented and tested first, and then sub problems are compiled together giving a larger solution. Example, you have C language, Smalltalk, etc. So see, in this process, first we'll be identifying the smaller modules. Like you go and see, first I need to take input, then I need to process or convert, then I need to give the output. That will be combined. That is the temperature conversion from Fahrenheit to centigrade or centigrade to Fahrenheit. Like that I am doing it. Okay, so it is reverse process of top-down approach that we have. There are certain drawbacks that top-down design has. So it is the problem solution starts with the lower level just with an assumption. So it can be completely specified beforehand, which is really not possible to start with the lower level. So design of lower level model is very much difficult. That is the first point meaning, or it is quite often found that at a final stage what we are going to obtain the result would not meet all the requirements of the program that we have developed. So these are the drawbacks that we have. Okay, in the next class we will go for the other type of approaches. Thank you.